You know, I wouldn't be where I am without you guys who watch these videos. I'm just a 23-year-old kid, just talking about this team that I love so much. I shouldn't be this obsessed with this team, but it's just the way it is. I want to thank every single one of you who has watched my videos, who have liked and subscribed, who have even, disliked and wrote negative comments. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. And, I want to start making the push to having this become, my full time job. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. So by helping me, be liking, be subscribing, I want to be able to go to the Texans games. I want to be able to get into the tailgates to interview you guys, to get the post and pregame reactions. I want to be more involved in the Texas community. And with that being said, just support guys. Shout out Mr. 713. Going on to this video, I think that this defense has done a lot of great things over the past two preseason weeks, even in training camp as a whole. And as this franchise has done a good job in itself, to building this team back to what it was, because it was, it was abysmal last season, and it might be, but the Houston Texans are still trying to put a bandage over it and see exactly what they can do. And they started with hiring Lovie Smith, guys, switching this defense into that 4-3, that Tampa defense. And at first, everyone had their doubts. Well, all of these hires, from the head coach to the GM to even all these players, have had doubts. Why are we hiring this guy? Why are we why are we signing that player? And I was one of them. But I said we do need to wait and see. And I think it's really shown, because I've been a big believer of, if the backups upon the backups could do it, then I have no reason why the starters can't do it. And the amount of competition and the amount of camaraderie that this defense has is absolutely fun to watch, and it is a breath of fresh air. The competition is what I think excites me the most. Great job from Nick Caserio, bringing in players, signing them to that one-year contract, that prove-it deal. The best of the best is going to make this team for the Houston Texans, and I see no issue with that. And it's good to know, that that this coaching staff and this, GM wants the best player to play. I said it in the video, last night, that Bill O'Brien would play favorites. He won't play players, and he would play players more than what they should. And it looks like that's not the case with this new coaching staff in front office. When you look at the defensive tackles, it excites me when you have players like Malik Collins, Jaleel Johnson, Ross Blacklock, Roy Lopez. Each and every one of those defensive tackles I could see starting at what point during the season. We are playing them deep into the in the preseason game. There has been no drop off in the run game defensive wise, from the Cowboys to from the Packers to the Cowboys. We have been absolutely shut down. Shout out to those guys. Jaleel Johnson has been making plays. Ross Blacklock is able to get into the backfield. It's hard to block him one-on-one, just like Mr. Roy Lopez. 2 sacks, in 2 preseason games, breaking out the salsa. Malik Collins, a lot of people forget how good he was with the Cowboys. Goes to the Raiders. They put him out of place. He's back in that 4-3 Lovie Smith system, and he was eating up in the first quarter, going against that Cowboys starting offensive line. Did a good game against the Green Bay Packers. This defensive tackle as a whole, excites me the most. And, as well as the defensive ends for this team, only one player in particular, and that's Charles, Omenihu. He has been on fire as of late, getting to the quarterbacks, stripping the ball. We might see him finally, get into his prime and be, the main man on that defensive line, the defensive end, because he's looked sharp so far. We know he's been grinding. We know he wants this as a whole. He has gotten a lot of shit talk from last year from underperforming. He knows it. We know it. And I'm glad to see that, that his hard work has been paying off. Shaq Lawson, I think, is interesting, because we've seen him play deep into the third quarter, even into the fourth quarter as well. I want to see what they do with him. We did trade for him. I think we did give him Bernard McKinney, but he did, play much better than what he did against the Packers. DeMarcus Walker, Jordan Jenkins, and we can't forget about Jacob Martin, who I consider a defensive end slash linebacker. Jacob Martin, I think, could have a good season for the Houston Texans. We've all been praying to please let Jacob Martin, rush the QB. Let him get his sacks. We know that his speed is going to be able to get him 8+ sacks. And now with the added weight, with the added, work in the offseason, getting his pass rushing moves, who knows what you have as a gym. We've been praying for them to unleash this man for the past couple seasons, and it looks like we're gonna get a chance, man. He did have a sack, against the Cowboys, stripping the ball, the first turnover of the game. So I'm really liking what I see from the defensive ends. I think the linebacker position for the Houston Texans has the most competition with Zach Cunningham and Christian Kirksey at the helm. These two could both be respective leaders on the defensive line. Both of the guys can have that green dot at the back of their helmet. I love how the Houston Texans address this linebacking core. They went with guys who not only could play very good against the run, but very good against the pass. We know the Houston Texans couldn't do that last season with players like Bernard McKinney. We couldn't rely on Dylan Cole. Terrell Adams came into it and he struggled in coverage as well. Players like Christian Kirksey, Kevin Pierre-Louis, they're damn good linebackers in coverage. Neville Hewitt is someone that I really like. He is my underrated guy. He had 100+ tackles for the New York Jets last year. I want to see what he could do. Our rookie Garrett Waller from TCU showed that he could, that he could be a tackling machine. At the end of the fourth quarter, he was, I think had at least 3 or 4. This linebacking core, I think, needed the most work in the offseason, and Nick Caserio brought that. So far, the pattern that we're seeing is Nick Caserio bringing in competition. Maybe bringing in more competition than what is needed, but that's just what he did. The cornerback spot, I think, might need a little bit of work. I do love Bradley Roby. I do love Desmond King. Vernon Hargreaves, I think, shouldn't even be a Houston Texan. Honestly, the dude got burned in the preseason game. I've never really been a Vernon Hargreaves fan, so we'll see what he can do in this new Tampa system. Terrence Mitchell and Tremon Smith are two other corners that I really like. Feisty guys. They're not going to give up. Quarterbacks will pick on them at times, but best believe they're going to get one play that will go their way in that whole thing. And as far as the safeties, man, Justin Reed, Lonnie Johnson, Eric Murray, all those guys have been playing good. This is the underrated position where I think each player has done a great job. Justin Reed looks free out there. Lonnie Johnson, getting the pick 6 against the Cowboys, looking like he's found his home. And Eric Murray, who was just a complete head case last year, looked lost all over the field. Finally looks like he could be a capable safety back there. Overall, this defense excites me, man. I do think this is going to be an underrated defense, maybe a top 15 defense in the NFL. This overall team, I think, is going to be feisty. A team that's going to be hard to put away. But we're going to go ahead and see, guys. Let me know what you think about this defense. As always, go Texans. You guys have a blessed day.